Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. How many times did you get up to pee last night? Once? Twice? Or was it so many times you actually lost count? You probably brushed it off this morning, told yourself, that's just part of getting older. But deep down, you know something's not right. You know how it feels to lie there, wide awake at 2 a.m., knowing you'll be dragging yourself to the bathroom again before sunrise. You know how it feels to climb back into bed, stare at the ceiling, and wonder, why can't I just sleep like I used to? I'm going to tell you something most people never admit out loud. It's not normal to wake up that much at night. It's common, yes, but that doesn't make it normal. In fact, every time you wake up, your body loses the deep restorative sleep it needs. And when you rob your body of that sleep night after night, it's not just your energy that suffers. Your heart suffers, your memory suffers, your immune system suffers. Even your mood, that spark of joy that keeps you looking forward to the next day, gets dimmer. Think about it. When was the last time you woke up and felt truly refreshed? No aches, no grogginess, no fog in your head, just a calm, steady energy that carried you through the whole day. For some of you, it's been months. For others, years. Now here's my confession to you. I used to think nighttime urination was just the way things are once you reach a certain age, but I've seen too many people transform their nights and their health by changing just one simple bedtime habit. And that's why you need to hear what I'm about to share, because what if, tonight, you could put your head on the pillow, and the next time you open your eyes, it's morning? What if you could skip the constant trips to the bathroom, skip the dangerous half-asleep walk across the room, skip the feeling of lying there frustrated at 3 a.m.? And what if all it took was gently touching 3 specific spots on your body before bed? These 3 spots aren't magic. They're not expensive. They're not even complicated. But the way they work together, calming your bladder, relaxing your nerves, and telling your brain it's safe to rest, might just be the difference between another restless night and the kind of sleep that heals you from the inside out. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those spots are, where to find them, and how to use them tonight so you can finally experience a full night's sleep without those frustrating bathroom trips. But let me be completely real with you here. If you've been struggling for months, maybe years, and you don't hit the subscribe button to Elderly Spring right now, you're basically telling yourself you're okay living in the same exhausting cycle, and maybe you are. But if you're not, if you're tired of being tired, then click that subscribe button now so you never miss another life-changing tip like this. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people who care about you. And listen, if you decide you're not going to subscribe, at least leave a comment and tell me why. Because if you'd rather keep losing sleep and risking your health than spend 1 second clicking a button, I truly want to hear your reason. So, what's it going to be? Are you ready to take back your nights? And maybe even your health? Then let's begin. Let's start with the first spot, the one that changed everything for a man named Richard. Richard is 72. For years, he thought waking up 5 times a night to pee was just what happens when you get older. He'd shuffle out of bed, half asleep, hand on the wall for balance, hoping he wouldn't bump into the dresser in the dark. Sometimes he'd fall back asleep quickly. Other nights he'd just lie there, staring at the ceiling, counting the hours until morning. His wife worried about him. She could see how tired he was during the day, the naps after breakfast, the yawns at lunch, the way he'd forget where he put things. But when she suggested seeing a doctor, he waved her off. It's normal, I'll be fine. It wasn't fine, and Richard didn't realize just how much it was costing him. In health, in energy, in quality of life, until someone showed him a spot on his own body he'd never thought about before. This spot is right below your belly button, about 2 inches down. Now here's why it works. Your bladder is a muscle. At night it can become overactive, especially as we age. Applying gentle, consistent pressure here relaxes that muscle and reduces the nerve signals that tell your brain, "Wake up, you need to pee." Most people think the only solution is to drink less water before bed. But here's the problem with that. Dehydration can actually make nighttime urination worse. When your body is low on water, your urine becomes more concentrated, which can irritate the bladder and trigger even more signals to go. So here's what you do instead. Before bed, place your palm flat about 2 inches below your belly button. Gently massage in small, slow circles, not pressing hard, just firm enough to feel the warmth of your hand sink into that area. Do this for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. Richard started doing this every night, and within a week he was only waking once. A few weeks later, some nights he didn't wake up at all. But the lower abdomen isn't the only secret. The next spot, it works in a completely different way, through your nervous system. Maria was 68 when she heard about it. She'd tried everything, herbal teas, cutting off fluids after dinner, even wearing compression socks to improve circulation. Nothing worked. But one night, she decided to try this second spot, and for the first time in years, she slept a full 8 hours without a single bathroom trip. This spot is on the inside of your ankle, about 4 fingers width above the ankle bone. In traditional acupressure, this point connects to both the kidney and bladder meridians, the pathways that help regulate how your body stores and releases fluid. When you apply pressure here, you're not just calming the bladder, you're helping your whole system find balance. Now, some people will roll their eyes and say, "That's just in your head." But science says otherwise. Multiple studies have shown that acupressure points like this one can reduce nerve excitability and relax the muscles that control urination. In other words, it's not a placebo. It's your body responding to gentle, targeted stimulation. Here's how to do it. Sit comfortably, cross one leg over the other, and find the spot about 4 finger widths above your inner ankle bone. Press with your thumb, firm but not painful, and hold for 1 to 2 minutes. Then switch legs and repeat. Maria made this part of her nightly routine right after brushing her teeth. Within days, she was telling her friends, "I didn't think this was possible at my age." And finally, the third spot may surprise you, because it's nowhere near your bladder or your lower abdomen. James called it his sleep button. The first night he tried it, he didn't wake until sunrise. He even overslept, something that hadn't happened in over a decade. These are the lower back dimples, 2 small indentations right above your buttocks. Underneath them run the sacral nerves, which play a big role in bladder control. When these nerves are tense or overactive, they can keep sending signals to your bladder even when it's not full. Relax those nerves, and you reduce those unnecessary signals. A lot of people think bladder control is all about muscle strength, but in reality, nerves are often the bigger problem. That's why focusing on this area can make such a difference. Here's how you do it. Stand or lie on your side, make a loose fist, and place your knuckles gently into each dimple. Move in slow, circular motions for 2 to 3 minutes. It shouldn't hurt. You're aiming for a warm, soothing sensation, not pain. James swore by it, and when he combined it with the other 2 spots, he went from 4 or 5 nighttime trips to maybe 1, and sometimes none at all. Now here's something important. These spots work even better when you combine them with small daily habits, and in a moment I'll walk you through exactly what those habits are, so you can give yourself the best chance of sleeping all night without interruption. Now, those 3 spots can make a powerful difference on their own. But here's the truth. If you understand why seniors tend to wake more at night, you can make those spots work even better, and in some cases, you can reduce the problem even before you touch them. So why do seniors pee more at night? Part of it comes down to the kidneys. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at filtering waste during the day, which means more urine production happens at night. Then there's hormone production, specifically a hormone called vasopressin. In younger years, this hormone rises at night to tell the body to hold on to water, letting you sleep longer without needing the bathroom. But with age, the nighttime surge in this hormone can weaken, and the bladder fills faster. And we can't ignore bladder elasticity. Over time, the bladder muscle may lose some of its stretch, holding less before sending the signal, "Time to go." I remember a woman named Helen, a viewer from Ohio. She wrote to me and said, "I thought I was drinking too much water before bed, but then I realized it didn't matter how little I drank, I'd still be up every hour." It turned out that her bladder was simply more sensitive at night, and understanding that stopped her from making the mistake of severely restricting her water, which was making her dizzy and constipated. So let me ask you, do you think your sleep issues come from your bladder, your daily habits, or something else entirely? Type your thoughts in the comments, because your answer might help someone else figure out their own puzzle. Now let's talk about daily habits that can boost the effectiveness of the 3 spots you've just learned. The first is light evening stretching. Nothing intense, just a few gentle movements to loosen the hips, lower back, and pelvis. This can ease pressure on the bladder and help those nerve pathways relax. The second is adjusting bedroom temperature. A cooler room helps the body enter deeper stages of sleep and keeps you from waking as easily. For many, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit is a sweet spot. The third is choosing evening drinks wisely. A simple rule: avoid caffeine after mid-afternoon, limit alcohol close to bedtime, and consider herbal teas that relax rather than stimulate. Now, let's flip the page and talk about common mistakes that can make nighttime urination worse. One is drinking diuretics at night. Yes, that evening cup of tea might feel cozy, but if it's black or green tea, it's still a diuretic. Another is wearing tight waistbands to bed. Anything pressing on your abdomen can put unnecessary pressure on the bladder. And then there's over-restricting water intake. I can't say this enough. Going to bed dehydrated doesn't help. It makes your urine more concentrated, which irritates the bladder and sends you running to the bathroom sooner. But habits and physical changes aren't the whole story. There's a mind-body connection at play here that most people never think about. Stress, anxiety, even subtle worry before bed. All of these can trigger your nervous system to stay on high alert. And when your body is in alert mode, your bladder becomes more sensitive to signals, even if it's only half full. That's why relaxation techniques before bed are so powerful. Simple breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6, can slow the heart rate and calm the bladder reflex. Some people find that a few minutes of quiet gratitude journaling before bed helps them mentally let go of the day and drift into deeper sleep. And then there are the real-life stories from people who've tried these methods. Susan from Arizona used all 3 spots for 2 weeks, combined with gentle yoga before bed, and went from waking 4 times to waking only once. David in Florida told me he'd been a midnight bathroom regular for years, until he tried the inner ankle point and adjusted his room temperature. Now, he sleeps through until dawn. Lydia, 74, started massaging the lower back dimples every night after hearing about it on this channel, and she said, "I finally feel like my body knows it's time to rest." These aren't isolated cases. They're proof that small changes can make a huge difference. So here's my invitation to you. Share your own story in the comments. You never know who might read it and think, "That's me. I'm going to try that tonight." Now, I know you probably have questions, so let's address a few I get all the time. Can I use these points if I have arthritis? Yes, but be gentle. You don't need to apply a lot of force for these spots to work. Use the pads of your fingers instead of knuckles, and take your time. Do they work if I've had bladder surgery? In many cases, yes, because the points work on the nerves and muscles that support bladder function, not just the bladder itself. But as always, check with your healthcare provider for your specific situation. How long before I see results? For some people, the very first night. For others, it may take a week or 2 of consistency. The key is making it part of your nightly routine, not just trying it once. Now let me share 3 bonus tips that can make all of this even more effective. Bonus. Tip number 1. Hydration timing during the day. Drink most of your fluids earlier. Aim to finish your last full glass of water about 2 hours before bed, so your body has time to process it without causing middle-of-the-night wake-ups. Bonus, tip number 2, using warm compresses on the abdomen. Applying a warm compress over the lower belly for 10 minutes before bed can help relax the bladder muscle and prime your body for uninterrupted sleep. Bonus tip number 3, gentle pelvic floor exercises for seniors. This isn't about heavy lifting or straining, just light contractions and releases of the pelvic muscles during the day to improve overall bladder control at night. I know how frustrating it is to wake up every single hour and feel like your nights are being stolen from you. You lie there in the dark, wishing for just a few more hours of uninterrupted rest, but the clock keeps moving forward, and morning always comes too soon. It's exhausting, it's draining, and over time it chips away at your energy, your mood, and even your health. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. You are not powerless in this. These 3 simple actions you've learned today, they are small, yes. They take only minutes. But they give you back something that so many people have lost hope for: control over your own nights. Instead of lying in bed worrying about the next trip to the bathroom, you now have a plan. A routine you can do every evening. And that changes everything. Because when you take those few minutes to touch these 3 spots in order, you're sending a message to your body. It's safe. You can rest now. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, before you climb under the covers, try all 3 spots exactly as I've shown you. Do them slowly, do them gently, and pay attention to how your body feels as you go. Then tomorrow morning, I want you to come back here and tell us in the comments how you slept. Share it, because your story might give someone else the courage to try. And don't underestimate the power of small improvements. Even 1 extra hour of deep, uninterrupted sleep can change your entire day. It can be the difference between dragging yourself through your morning and feeling alert, steady, and ready to live. Every night you reclaim, every morning you wake up with more energy, is a victory. And tonight could be the start of that victory for you. So before we wrap up, let's make sure you remember exactly what we've covered today. The lower abdomen point, to calm the bladder muscle and quiet those nerve signals that wake you. The inner ankle point, to restore balance through the kidney and bladder pathways and reduce nighttime urgency. And the lower back dimple, to relax the sacral nerves that can trigger those unnecessary wake-up calls. 3 simple spots, just minutes each night, and they could be the difference between another restless evening and finally sleeping all the way through until morning. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these are you going to try tonight? Are you starting with all 3, or focusing on just one to see how it feels? Or maybe you already have your own trick for avoiding nighttime bathroom trips. If you do, share it in the comments, because you never know whose life you might improve with your story. And listen, if you've made it this far into the video without subscribing to Elderly Spring, ask yourself why. You've just learned something that could give you better sleep, more energy, and a better quality of life. And that's exactly what we share here every single week. If you don't click that subscribe button now, you're choosing to take your chances without the tools that could make your later years healthier and more comfortable. If that's a choice you're fine with, let us know in the comments. But if you know you want to keep learning, click subscribe right now and join a community that's looking out for you. Here at Elderly Spring, we believe that every year of your life can be your healthiest and your happiest. Stay strong, stay informed, and may your nights be peaceful.